Kinode! My only offense is loving your daughter. Is that a crime?
Hey guys, it's your girl Okwe and welcome to the All Shows Nigerian channel where I review Nollywood movies, series and reality TV shows. Today I'll be reviewing one of the latest YouTube movie. This is my first YouTube debut, Nollywood debut, and I'm honestly excited because I feel like I don't know, I've just never really thought of Nollywood movies on YouTube as, a big deal, but I just noticed that there was a lot of buzz and there was a lot of hype regarding this movie, even in its promotion, in its marketing. And I was like, you know what? When this movie comes out, I'm definitely going to give it a try, give it a feel, and like if it's something that I like, maybe I'll be dipping into the waters of the YouTube Nollywood space from time to time when especially the Prime and the Netflix, streams or whatever platforms are not really giving what they're supposed to give. But this movie's name, the title of this movie is The Last Straw. It is a YouTube movie and an A3 Studios production. I feel like they are somehow related or affiliated with Bimbo Ademoye TV. I don't know if it's the same thing. Maybe that's what she calls her production organization or whatever. But it is a Bimbo Ademoye marketed movie type of thing. She's the main character of this movie, and I think she's also part of the production behind the scenes in terms of like the production aspect of things. This is honestly my first time watching a Bimbo Ademoye movie, like one that I guess she made or created or produced. So definitely will give her flowers. Overall, I feel like she's an amazing actress, and it's nice to see her produce her own movies and grow or her already outstanding like career and legacy within the Nollywood industry. So for this movie, the main cast for this movie were Bimbo Ademoye, like I said, Timini Egbuson and Shaffy Bello, popular Nollywood actors. You know, they were really the main guys. The other characters were like supporting characters. These were the three that I would say were the main people all through this movie from the beginning to the end. In terms of cast performance, there were just some things that I would say were a bit off with their dynamic, and I would say they all delivered a very mid performance in this movie. They weren't bad or anything. I just feel like they weren't great either, and I feel like it tends to happen a lot more when movies like these are very star-studded. They also had a very weird dynamic going on in this movie, and I don't think the characters like their parts really flowed organically with each other. I didn't really see like a connection or a relationship with each of them, considering that this was a mother's daughter husband type of movie. I just didn't really feel that like real connection or real like realness with how their characters were interacting with each other. I just felt very cringe in my opinion, and I just wish that there was more energy and life put into those scenes to make them flow more organically. For instance, the part where Laolu was singing and toasting his wife, was not so convincing enough for me, and in my opinion, and you guys may have different like opinions to this, but I feel like they didn't have as much chemistry in my opinion, and the love story for me was very weak, and you can't compare it to other Nollywood movies or Nollywood love stories like Isoke and the likes, regarding like in terms of like love story. Overall, I just feel like this star-studded cast didn't really add much value to the plot, and it was a bit underwhelming and disappointing because we've seen these particular actors especially deliver stellar performances in the different movies that they've been in the past, and I just wish that they stood on business in this movie and reflected just that. Also, is it just me or were there some scenes that felt too rushed or point blank irrelevant to the plot? Maybe it was just bad editing, but I just feel like in this movie the plot progression was very very up and down, and it reflected a lot in some scenes. I just wish there was a better balance between the two factors, and maybe it was just in my head, but comment down below if you also feel that way as well. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anytime Morenike's mom disrespected her husband, I kept screaming, "Girl, stand up!" Because why are you letting your mother disrespect your man? But you know what? Let's talk about it. Can we just normalize setting healthy boundaries with Nigerian parents? Can we literally normalize that in our culture? Because what the actual heck was going on in this movie, especially when it comes to significant others in marriages? I'm not married, but like just from my own external point of view, I just feel like you should never let any your parents disrespect your spouse in any way, shape, or form, especially in the way that was depicted in this movie. I understand where her mom was coming from in some certain concerns that she had, regarding the husband situation, and also her own past experience with her own husband who had a similar background like Morenike's husband. But at the same time, don't project that at the end of the day, this is not your marriage, this is your daughter's marriage, and it's not going to be the same situation. It clearly isn't the same situation like what you went through. And I understand that as a mother, you have to protect her. You feel like you have to protect her. But at the same time, Morenike has to make her own choices in life, has to make her own mistakes in life and everything. And you can't keep like, trying to like control her dynamic, control how she lives, control how her family is, control how her husband, lives with her and everything. Like, I just feel like it was a bit too much. I just feel like irrespective of whatever was going on with the husband, with his, him trying to hustle in the street as a horticulturist or whatever, it didn't feel like it didn't warrant the way the mom was treating him. I feel like she was honestly berating the guy, and it really wasn't cool. At the end of the day, it got to a point where he just couldn't take it anymore, and the daughter too just sat there like a prop, stuttering and making flimsy excuses for her mother while enabling the behavior. It was literally a matter of time before it became the last straw that broke the camel's back, in my opinion. So I wasn't surprised when he eventually, yeah. Also, why was Mo's father in the beginning having an accent? I didn't understand that. Her mother already explained to us that her ex-husband was from a poor family background, yet we're somehow supposed to believe that he had a sad excuse for an American accent in the beginning of the movie. That just didn't make sense to me, but okay. I won't say much before you guys say I'm making this whole review negative. Also, in the scenes where they were getting frisky hand, Morenike and Laolu, were the sheets not laid, I noticed that it was only like one tiny layer of sheet that looked like a wrapper that was on the bed, and then they had the blankets, and I'm like, were we not supposed to notice that? And also, if her husband was a horticulturist, why didn't we see like maybe a garden behind the house, like a small garden, with him watering it or something to make his career more believable for us, the viewers? I feel like we just saw like one or two plants, fake looking plants in my opinion, in the bedroom, and just a tiny like shelf of plants in the living room. That just wasn't convincing enough for me. Like, come on now, you guys can do better than that. It's literally just plants. It's not going to go over your budget in any way, shape or form. But yeah, that I just noticed that, and it just didn't make sense to me. Also, at the end, did you notice that at some point Timini looked at the camera and forgot he was on set for a second?
Grace, ungrateful, you're mad.
Yes, that actually happened. If you go back to the part where his wife came back to apologize, there was a scene or a part where he looked, and I was like, "Ooh, bro, was that a mistake? Like, what was that? What just happened?" and everything. So that was just very funny in my opinion. And it's honestly this type of inconsistencies that really get to me, because it may seem like minor, production error, directing errors, or whatever, or casting errors, but these tiny errors like that make or break a movie. They are messing up the little things like this. What then can we say about the level of detail and thoroughness in the other bigger things, in the other aspects of the movie? So that was just my opinion on those stuff. Another thing I noticed also in this movie was the subtle, well, not so subtle marketing of some products. If you know, you know. You saw those clips and you caught those clips of like the subtle marketing that was going on certain products in this movie. Yeah, let me know down in the comment section. But hey, I have no problem with that. Everybody is hustling. I love the hustle and the support. And I just feel like it could have been a bit more subtle, because at some point, there were some points where it did feel like distracting, and it like in my mind I was like, wait, are we supposed to look at the products? Because the camera just was zoomed at in certain angles on some certain products that I immediately caught on it, like, oh, okay, this is like subtle marketing, but it just didn't feel low-key subtle. Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say. Another unpopular opinion, in my opinion, was Timini's boo-boos in this movie. It was definitely a look, and it was definitely giving something. I don't think I've ever seen a guy in this particular style of boo-boo before. Even though the style technically I would say originated or was morphed out of like the popular agbada attire that Yoruba men wear, in the Yoruba culture. But it was just still interesting seeing it in him because again I've never seen this style of bubu on any guy. And you know what? Maybe it's to start a trend of like us seeing guys wear it now from time to time. Can't even lie, it definitely was a look. I won't say I hated it. It was just definitely a look that I wasn't used to, but it was kind of interesting to see. Yeah, interesting to see. I think that's the word for it. But yeah, final rating for this movie ended up being a 5.5 out of 10. One thing I really love about this movie is also the length. It wasn't too long and at the same time it wasn't too short. In my opinion, it was just the right balance of length and especially considering it was a simple plot. Overall, at the end, everything was tied in together nicely. I also really appreciate that because sometimes some plots can become very, very complex and chaotic and confusing at the very end. So I really like that, even though this movie was extremely simple in its plot, and I feel like they could have pushed, a bit more in terms of like creativity and all that, and pushed more in their boundaries on, regarding the movie. I just like that at least everything still tied up, in a sweet bun, in a cute bun at the end of the movie, and it was comprehensive enough to for me to say it was, entertaining. It was a cliche Nigerian movie, but I'm not gonna lie. At the same time, I have to agree with the fact that it was a simple, relatable, entertaining, and nice watch. Especially when you're just looking for something that is not too complex or not too like something that would not stress your head, basically, that you can watch to pass time and everything. Personally, I typically like simple but yet creative movies, and I'm not too sure if this movie hit that brief regarding like its level of creativity. However, it was a satisfactory watch and I definitely recommend it if you have not watched it. If you have watched it, please comment down below. I'd love to see your comments and hear your thoughts regarding this movie. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and please subscribe to the channel. We have hit the 300 mark. Yay! I'm so happy. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. We are on our road to 400 subscribers now, so please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share this video and turn on your post notifications so you get notified every single time I post a video. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.